Okay, I'm going to make parts to make the drawer boxes and the drawer fronts. The drawer fronts are planed to 5/8 inches thick, and the sides of the drawer boxes and the false front is planed to 9/16. And the back of the drawer I leave at 3/4 inch thick just to add some weight to the back, because the front of the drawer is a little bit unbalanced with the weight. So that's how I make drawer boxes. The drawer slides that I use work with material a 1/2 inch thick to 5/8, but I find that 9/16 works pretty good because the paint adds a little bit of thickness and it gives the drawer a little bit more wiggle room in the space that it has. So, and the bottoms of the drawers are 1/4 inch luan, so I'll make a groove for the 1/4 inch luan for the sides. So I've got my drawer parts cut out. These are ready to put together. Some of this pine is super resiny, which can be a problem working with pine. Like this piece right here is full of resin. And that's why I used this piece for drawer parts, because I couldn't really use this for finishing anything on the outside because all of this resin will come through. And it's also very hard on the tools. As you can see, I have this pile of wood stuck on to the back of the chop saw hood here because this sawdust is super sticky because it's full of resin. So it sticks on all the tools, and it can be a problem, especially on the table saw. I have to keep this coil spring greased because it will get squeaky and friction will build up, and those coil springs can actually break if you don't lubricate them. So yeah, resiny pine. The biggest problem that cutting resiny pine can create happens on the planer, because the sticky sawdust can build up on the bed rollers of the planer, and then that can create indentations on the workpiece, and I have to make sure that the bed rollers are clean, and I'll probably have to open it up a little bit and inspect it after cutting this wood, because I've had that problem many times working with pine. So this piece doesn't have very much resin in it. It feels light and dry. It's a big difference between these two pieces. But material selection is key, especially when you're worried about your finish work. The hell? Clean plane. Hello? That was weird. That's what happens when you're on the internet. Where was I? Now, just as a note, this staple that goes on the back, this is the front, the false front. This is the back that's thicker, and I have to drill these holes for these prongs that stick out of the slides. So these holes have to be close to the edge. And I have to remember not to staple this last staple too close to where this plywood meets, because if I put a staple through that, then I hit it with my brad point drill bit. So what I've been doing is just kind of angling it in that direction out, away from that hole. So it's taken me a while to remember to do that, because I used to always hit nails when I did that drilling step. But after a while, I just remember to watch out for that last shot. So these are done, and after a few hours I'll sand these. I'll probably just do that tomorrow. There's one thing I don't like about the KV drawer slides, and that's the screws that come with these. They're not very good. They're a little bit too large. So I use this kind. This is called a truss head screw. It's got a larger, flatter head than this one. The shank of the screw is slightly smaller. And so what I found is that this larger screw tends to split the wood more often, so this one works better. Just by using the properly sized screw, I don't have to pre-drill in pine. If this was hardwood, like maple, if these were made out of hardwood, I'd have to pre-drill it no matter what. Okay, I'm ready to install the drawer slides and the drawer fronts. I have all of the hardware and tools I need laid out. So I'm ready to install the first pair of slides, and then I do a test fit to make sure that the drawer front is sitting flush with the face of the face frame. I either like to have it exactly flush or maybe set back just a little bit in case the drawer is slightly out of square. It doesn't protrude from the face of the face frame. So I have my stop dimension set at 13/16. So that's set back from the face of the face frame. And so I'll test fit this dimension to make sure that that's what I want. And then I'll go on to install the rest of the slides. I have a C-clamp that I use to secure the drawer slide temporarily so that the slide doesn't wander around when I set the first screw in, because oftentimes that'll happen. So this makes that go a lot faster. I have shims. I use 3/32 of an inch as a standard reveal, and I put that on the bottom. And I'll be using the screws that come with the KV slides because they work fine, and I'm not worried about the drawer runners splitting. So over here I have some weights that I use to preload the drawers when I install the drawer fronts, and I find that gets better results. For the drawer fronts, I have these specialty screws. They're 1 1/8 inches. And I think that's everything. So this screw that fastens the drawer knob on protrudes from the surface, and so I press it in and it leaves a little bit of an indentation right there so that I can pre-drill that, so that if in the case that this drawer knob needs to be replaced or taken off, it can still be removed from inside the drawer. Okay, well, I have my drawer slides on, my drawer fronts are lined up, and I think this project is pretty much done. Now, I'm not going to be painting this piece. This piece is actually going to be finished by somebody else. So this is as far as I'm going to go with it. I'm going to build a zinc top for it, so I'm going to do that next. And normally when I do drawers with drawer fronts like this, I will paint the drawer fronts separately, and the drawers will be painted before the hardware is installed, because you can't really paint the bottom of the drawer. I like to get one coat of paint on the bottoms just so it's not bare wood, but you can't do that unless you paint the drawers first. For this project I don't have to worry about any finishing, so I'm just putting it all together so it can be shipped as one unit, and now I'm done. So I'm going to put the drawer boxes in, do one last test fit to see if the reveals of the drawer fronts are even. And I can tweak it by loosening up the screws and retightening them. But once the drawer is painted, it kind of glues itself on there so it won't move around.